Hey everybody, this is Lewis Speaks 2020, and today I want to talk to you about dating according to your standards and also dealing with people who are like-minded. I realize that oftentimes when you struggle with low self-esteem and when you struggle with various insecurities, you oftentimes find yourself dealing with people who are not on your level. You oftentimes find yourself negotiating your standards too. Lowering your standards to try and either match your loneliness or your desperation, or lowering your standards because you feel unworthy. I realize that I've done this in the past. I have a confession. I have low self-esteem. And I had difficulties admitting that to myself because it didn't manifest as what I thought it would look like. I thought low self-esteem means you hold your head down, you feel bad about yourself, but there are so many faces to low self-esteem. And for me, it manifests in my choice of partners. When I looked at all the men that I've dated, and I've examined those relationships, I realized that those men were not on my level. They were not on my level spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. They were not on my level. And yet and still I continued to deal with them, and I asked myself, why? 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 Because they made me feel masterful. By comparison, dealing with those boys made me feel in control. They made me feel superior. They made me feel like I was better and more accomplished and masterful, and I liked the way that made me feel. I also felt like to deal with the men that I really wanted, I didn't have enough for them. Like, I didn't feel like I was enough for them. I felt intimidated by the men that I wanted. I felt threatened by them. And so this caused me to just scrape the bottom of the barrel, dealing with these losers that I really had nothing in common with except my need to feel better about myself. I struggled, and I still continue to struggle with a host of insecurities. And I realized in the past that this caused me to chase after these people that were just not on my level. And I realized that a lot of us do that. A lot of us, especially when I see a lot of powerful women with these bums, with these men from the city mission who don't have a pot or a window, nothing to offer them except problems. And yet these high class, high successful women are with these losers. And I ask myself, why? Why? I feel it's twofold. One, I think sometimes these women are with these men because they feel like the successful men don't want them, because the successful men are threatened by them. They're threatened by their achievements. They're threatened by their abilities. They're threatened by their success. Oftentimes when a woman is successful and she's dating a man, it's been known that she has to kind of hide that part or downplay it so as not to offend the male ego. And so that's just one aspect. It can be hard to find a man that celebrates your success. That's one aspect. The second aspect is a lot of women, I think, and men too, struggle with imposter syndrome. And what is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is when you've reached a level of success and you fear that other people will find out that you're not as talented, not as educated, not as intelligent, not as well learned as you profess to be. And so you're afraid that at any given moment, they're going to find out about these things because you don't feel as though you are deserving of those titles, you don't feel like you are, how you say, just deserving. You don't feel like you are deserving of wearing those crowns and those titles because of your own insecurities, your own deep-rooted issues, that lie in the core of your identity. And so this is what imposter syndrome is, and this is what it does. It causes you to date below your standard. It causes you to deal with people who are not on your level. And it just wrecks your life. Because what I've noticed is that like these women, they're successful, they're at the top of their game, and then they get in these relationships with these men who are wounded and abused. And what ends up happening is these men end up abusing them physically, mentally, emotionally, trying to drag them down. And it's like imposter syndrome is a form of self-sabotage. It's a form of self-sabotage because you could be at the height of your game and then you struggle with this syndrome. And so that causes you to manifest people in your life that reflect all your insecurities, all your fears. And so you're dealing with these people. And often these people have their own unresolved wounds. And so what they do is they get their hooks into you and they try to drag you down, because they have a saying, water seeks its own level. And if you're up here and they're below here, they're going to try to pull you down to their level. So I realized the importance of dating and dealing with people that are on your level. When I think about J-Lo and who she's dating, she's dating, I guess, a baseball player, a successful man. Think of Beyonce, Jay-Z, he's a billionaire. She's dating according to her level. Now think about Beyonce dating some guy working at the Five and Dime, some McDonald's employee. And this is not to knock people who are in the service industry at all. Not at all, because the job is a job, it's honest work. But at the same time, let's be real. You know what I'm saying? If you're working at McDonald's and Beyonce, she's working that stage, it's not the same level. She got to make sure that she stays with somebody who's on her level. And the reason for that is because when you deal with somebody who is not on your level, they're going to always try and make you feel guilty about your success. You're going to always have to apologize for your success. You're going to trigger their insecurities. They're not going to feel like they can measure up to you. And so it's going to make them feel bad. And it's just this pattern that, no, you don't need that in your life. So I encourage people, myself, even I tell myself, deal with people that match or exceed what you bring to the table. If they don't match or exceed what you bring to the table, dead them. Because my thing is this, you should never have to apologize for being great. You should never have to downplay and dismiss and hide and lessen yourself to make somebody else feel comfortable. You should never have to do that. And if you do, if you find yourself doing that, then you're in the wrong relationships. Get out now. Get out now, because you need someone in your life who can match or exceed what you bring into the table. You need somebody in your life who can bolster your self-confidence, bring you up, not lower you down. You need somebody who can fuel your greatness, not somebody that's going to make you apologize for it. So it's really important that you definitely deal with people who are on your level. I've had some guys in the past, a guy I was really interested in. This was a while back, and I was trying to get at him. And basically, I came correct in everything. And he told me that, something, Lewis, I read your posts on Facebook, and I feel intimidated by you. You're really intelligent, you're good looking, and I feel very intimidated by you. And I was like, something, you don't have to be intimidated by you, because I thought he was beautiful. He was just my type, but at the same time, he was intimidated by me. And at that moment, I realized it would have never worked out. Why? Because he would have constantly struggled with this inferiority complex. He would have constantly struggled with his own insecurities that would have caused him to sabotage our relationship. You know, it would have caused him to try and do things to prove himself right. He believed that he was not good enough for me. So he would do everything in his power to try to prove himself right, because people want to be two things. They want to be liked and they want to be right. And in this case, he wanted to be right. He felt badly about himself, and so his subconscious is going to try everything to prove himself right, even if that means hurting my feelings. And so I had to just let that person go. I may have liked him, but I realized that because he was intimidated by me, because he was, I guess, uncomfortable and he was struggling with his own issues, it would have never worked out. So, long story short, deal with people that are on your level. Do not deal with people that are struggling with their own insecurities, or, you know, and we all have insecurities. We all have insecurities, but if their insecurities are going to affect you poorly, are going to make you have to try to apologize and downplay yourself, nah. You need people in your life who can bolster your self-confidence, who can raise you up to new heights. If you can't grow me, if you can't support me and bring out the best in me, that's important. Bring out the best in me. You know, fuel my greatness. If you can't do that, I don't want you. There's the door. Because I'm not going to sit here and apologize for my greatness. If anything, I want to become greater. So by dealing with these people who are struggling with their own issues, you know, I understand you have issues. I understand that right now you're not willing to work on those issues. That's fine. You stay over there. As for me, what I'm going to do is find people and situations in my tribe that are going to feed me. I'm going to find my Jay-Z. I'm going to find my A-Rod. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to find the people in my life who are going to bring me to new heights, because that's important. So once again, I encourage you all to do the same. And this is Lewis Speaks 2020. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Okay? Peace.